Alright, so for those of you who don't know, when I was a freshman in college, I used to be in a fraternity. I go to a very big party school where pretty much if you're not in Greek life, there really isn't that much to do other than to wait till you're 21. So naturally, I decided to join a fraternity. Then we got banned for hazing that took place when I was like in high school. So then we decided to become a different fraternity. And we got banned again for hazing. But either way, the reason that I'm even telling you guys all of this right now is because I know what it's like to get hazed, okay? And in today's video, we're talking about exactly that. Hazing. Basically, back in 2024, a fraternity at the University of Iowa got banned because they got caught hazing, and the cops' body cam footage recently got released, and it went super viral. And oh my god, I don't think I have ever seen a worse way to handle this kind of situation. Basically, the fire alarm went off at the Alpha Delta Phi fraternity house at the University of Iowa, and I guess at the same time as the fire alarm going off, the pledges were also having a lineup, which basically means they were getting hazed. But here's the thing, okay? The fire alarm is apparently in the basement. And the pledges were getting hazed in the basement. So the cops went to the basement and saw the fucking pledges being hazed, you know?
Does anyone want to be forthcoming on what's going on?
Hey, this stops here, guys. This is a police department. This stops here. Who's in charge?
They're upstairs.
How about we start cleaning this up? Everyone take their blindfolds off.
Yo, this kid's really going through it. He must have been a shitty pledge. Oh my god, never mind. Look at the motherfucker in the back.
Shit. I've already given multiple commands to clear the room and get out of here, but no one's moving.
Alright, so now for the next, like, 20 minutes, they kind of just talk to the cops, try to explain themselves, avoid questions, you know, blah, blah, blah. But now, this is the part of the video where we meet the main protagonist of this entire situation, okay? I would like you guys all to meet this guy right here, Joseph Gaia. Now, to give you guys some context, I'm going to assume that this guy is the pledge master, which means he's the guy who was hazing the pledges, okay? And I say this because he is the only one who is clean and not shirtless in a room full of not clean and shirtless people. He also has a raspy-ass Abella Danger voice, so unless this guy was just sucking every dude's dick in that room, I'm gonna assume he was screaming at them. So now I want you guys to remember that, okay? We're assuming that this guy was the pledge master. He was hazing these motherfuckers, okay? And he is face to face with law enforcement. He has been caught red-handed committing a fucking felony, all right? And this is how he talks to the cops.
How does nobody live here? Just hanging out?
You tell me.
No, you tell me.
I don't know.
You go to University of Iowa?
Yeah.
You do? What's your major?
Business.
Business? What's your name?
Why?
Just wondering what your name is.
Jose.
Jose? Jose, what's your last name?
Why?
Just wondering who I'm talking to.
I want to tell you that. I don't want to tell you that.
Okay. How old are you?
21.
All right.
Want to see my ID?
Yeah, you got an ID or anything to prove?
I think it's fake.
Huh?
I think it's fake.
You think it's fake? You think it's fake or you know it's fake? There's two different things there. Campus 142, one by DL, number at Iowa when you're ready.
It's definitely not Jose.
I go by Jose.
I need to talk to these people here. I need to step over here.
I'll step inside.
He just hit his vape. He just hit his vape, took a sip of his beer, and then handed the cop a fake ID. Did you see that? So not only is he being rude to cops after getting caught committing a felony, he's giving them a fake ID, telling them it's fake. That is identity fraud, believe it or not. That is literally another felony.
I think it's fake.
You think it's fake? You think it's fake or you know it's fake? There's two different things there. Campus 142, one by DL, number at Iowa when you're ready.
It's definitely not Jose.
I go by Jose.
I need to talk to these people here. I need to step over here.
I'll step inside.
But either way, after that, they end up talking to the actual fraternity president, who's also just as fucked in this situation, considering he literally leads the entire frat. Like, keep in mind when you watch this guy is on the hook. If the frat gets fucked and, like, accused of hazing, he is taking the fall for it.
You president?
Yes.
Step aside.
The officers finally speak to the fraternity president.
I'm going to tell you first and foremost, I'm a little frustrated, but we're going to get through it, okay? What's going on tonight?
It's their lead up to initiation.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the deal with what are we doing in the basement?
It's basically a ritual where they're blindfolded.
Okay.
And get messed with.
Okay. So the entire time that we've been here, which has now been, I think, 15, 20 minutes, we have been demanding to speak to somebody in charge where nobody knows you, apparently, in the house.
Okay.
Nobody knows who's in charge. Like, here's the deal. We have a hazing event, right? We're going to do a report because we responded to a fire alarm, which we were trying to get people to evacuate because of the fire alarm. But from my understanding, you guys refused to evacuate from a fire alarm after an officer is ordering everybody to vacate the premise. And then on top of that, we find this hazing event. We want to speak to somebody. Nobody knows anything. Nobody knows anyone. Nobody knows what's going on.
So for the rest of the clip, he pretty much just explains to the guy how there's so much hazing incidents going on and this, that, and the other, and how obviously what the cops saw in the basement didn't look very good. But either way, eventually the cops leave the frat house and, go home. And the very next day, they end up going to Joseph Gaia's apartment. This guy right here.
The next day, police pay a visit to Joseph's apartment after he was very uncooperative the day before. After 10 minutes of talking, he again proved to be uncooperative and difficult to deal with.
So you interjecting yourself into that conversation, what good does that... They don't need to talk to the cops. I don't even... Why are you deciding who they need to talk to, though? I'm just saying, they're my buddies, they're my friends. Right. The police are doing an investigation. About what? They're trying to figure out what's going on in that room. What was going on in the room? What have you heard? So, they're doing an investigation. Yep. You don't dictate the investigation, right? Yeah, that's for the police. That's for us to investigate, right? Yeah, I get that. Right. You understand that. Yeah. So why are you dictating who the police can talk to and can't talk to? I'm just telling my buddies not to talk to them. That's it. Okay. So you're interfering with the police officers' Not at all. Job. Not at all. He never said, "Oh, if you don't get away, you're getting arrested." He never said that once. He did tell you to step away. He told you to walk away. And then he said it again. I walked away. No, you didn't. Okay. So he asked you to walk away. I would like to end this conversation right now. Please. Okay. I would like to have a word here. Okay. And if there's anything actually happening, you can call me again. But it's been a pleasure. Thanks, fellas. So I didn't catch your name. So this is Lieutenant Travis Tyrell. Travis.
122, I'll take you. What'd you say your name was?
Joseph.
All right. Joseph? All right, so unfortunately for you, at this point, you're being placed under arrest. You can put your hands behind your back.
Joseph was arrested for interference with official acts in connection with the hazing incident. Those charges would be dropped a year later. The Alpha Delta Phi fraternity was suspended through 2029.
So, yeah, that's pretty much the entire situation. Basically, this guy ended up getting arrested, and he didn't face any charges. The frat ended up getting banned, and that's about it. When it comes to how they handled the situation, I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. First of all, if you're having a lineup and hazing a bunch of pledges, why would you keep them in the same room as the fucking fire alarm? The reason the cops went to the basement was to check out the fire alarm, okay? And then second of all, if you know the cops are there, why would you have these guys keep their shirts off? Why would you not have them put their shirts back on and start acting normal, Like, yeah, they might be covered in fucking ketchup and mustard, but you're allowed to be fucking filthy in your own home, You're legally allowed to be as dirty as you want anywhere. So it's like, why would you not just have them leave instead of packing them like sardines shirtless in a fucking basement? Okay, this literally looks like something out of Epstein's Island. Now, allegedly, one of the pledges actually made a video speaking out about the situation, but he posted this video like 2 days ago. And this shit happened back in 2024. So I think this is a lie, but this is his explanation.
I was one of the pledges at the Alpha Delta Phi fraternity, and I would like to share my side of the story. It seems there's a rumor starting to spread that this was an act of hazing, but it actually wasn't at all. A lot of people don't know this about Alpha Delta Phi, but it is actually tradition to have a big basement grill off in celebration of pledges initiation. which is why we were all shirtless and covered in ketchup and mustard. Another big talking point about this incident was that we were all blindfolded. Now, the body cam footage doesn't show this, but actually right out of frame was a giant piñata. We were all trying to bust in and get the candy. We all chose to go to the grill off. Nobody was being manipulated or held captive. And honestly, this whole thing is just a huge misunderstanding.
All right, so basically what this guy is saying is that, it might look like hazing, it might look pretty bad, but it was all just a misunderstanding. It was all voluntary. They were celebrating their initiation and having a massive grill, and that's why they were all shirtless and covered in mustard and ketchup. And, I believe the fact that this was all voluntary. I don't think any of these kids were hurt or traumatized, but let's just call it what it is, dude. You guys were getting fucking hazed. Like, hello? Special grill off? Covered in ketchup and mustards? Are you guys the fucking hot dogs? Like, what kind of grill off is that? But here's the thing, okay? These kids were definitely getting hazed. They were probably in Hell Week. They were getting initiated and they were sleeping in the house. So it was definitely Hell Week. But at the same time, if this is real, there is a reason why this kid right here made this video. Like, yeah, maybe they were getting hazed. Maybe they were being forced to stay there. But guess what? They're not fucking pussies. They signed up for this. It is no secret what goes on behind closed doors at fraternities, okay? Everyone who joins one knows exactly what they're getting into. And guess what? If they don't fuck with it, they can literally just leave. And I feel like that's the biggest misconception when it comes to fraternities, because at the end of the day, dude, hazing really isn't that fucking bad. Like, yeah, you have to do a bunch of heinous shit you probably wouldn't usually do, but it's all like just stupid. It's not that fucking deep. And if it is, you don't have to do it. You can fucking drop. And at the end of the day, bro, all of the stupid shit that you do during hazing and pledging becomes lifelong memories with the people you fucking did it with. Like, yeah, dude, back during my freshman year, I wish I wasn't getting milk poured on me every Sunday night. But, it's just fucking milk, dude. It's not that deep. And now I laugh about it with my friends. And that is the main, misconception when it comes to fraternities. People think that we are losing our self-respect and dignity by pledging a fraternity, getting bitched around by older no, dude. We're just not fucking pussies, okay? We want to party and drink, sorry. But obviously, because there has been some crazy hazing incidents where people have gotten seriously injured or even fucking died, so it makes complete sense why schools and law enforcement have absolutely zero tolerance towards hazing incidents, even if it's completely voluntary and not that bad. Another misconception I hear about frats is that you pay for your friends. No, motherfucker, that is so far from the truth. I don't mean to sound like some fucking frat dude right now, because I'm really not. I don't give a shit. But, dude, the money you pay your fraternity, that shit goes to the parties. That's what you're paying. The crazy parties you see on Instagram, that's what the money goes to, all right? The reason you make your friends is through the pledge process, okay? You share a goal with a bunch of other people and endure a hardship together and become close. Now, does that sometimes involve voluntary hazing? Yeah, but it's really, if it's not worth it to you, you fucking leave. And that's pretty much my whole premise of this entire thing. It's really just not that deep. People just don't like frat guys for the same reason that people don't like, you know what? Crazy comparison. But I like to compare Epstein's Island and Greek life because they actually share a lot of fucking similarities. Because one thing I've noticed about people in fraternities and people who don't like people in fraternities is that the people who don't like people in fraternities, they hate these motherfuckers. They despise frat guys. But then the frat guys, they don't even know that these people exist. They don't give a shit. And if you really think about it, the types of people who went to Epstein's Island, they probably don't give a shit about all the poor people, hating them. Do you think Epstein cares that people hate him? No. And then you got the money, drugs, and the partying. Those both take place at fucking Frats and Epstein's Island. You know what also takes place at Frats and Epstein's Island? Sexual exploitation. But guess what? Do you think every single person at Epstein's Island knew about the sexual exploitation? I don't think so. Fucking Stephen Hawking was on that bitch. You think he knew about it? Maybe I'm misunderstood, but I don't think that every celebrity actually, knew about the underage children there. Or at least until it was too late. And it's the same thing with fraternities. Yes, sexual exploitation does happen. People get sexually assaulted at frat parties. But guess what? I can guarantee you that if majority of the fucking people in the frat found out what happened, they would beat that guy's ass. But now, hopefully you guys get what I'm trying to say, okay? I'm not trying to defend Epstein's Island in any way, shape, or form. But what I am saying is, all the people who went to Epstein's Island were rich and in positions that other people want to be in. And the fact that all those disgusting things happened on that island gives even more people even more reasons to hate these people who are doing better than them. It gives them them a way to feel better than that person. Oh, he's a rich billionaire? Of course he's a pedophile. And the same logic applies to all the people in fraternities, okay? Because let's be honest here, the main people who join fraternities are fucking rich, wealthy Nepo babies, okay? Some fucking white kid who's gonna work for his dad's law firm after he graduates. And because that's the main demographic of people who join fraternities, who people are already jealous of to begin with, obviously people are going to give a negative image towards frat guys. Now, I do want to make this very, very clear. I am not in any way, shape, or form defending Epstein's Island or the people that went there or taking their side in any way. Those people are all disgusting and terrible people, blah, blah, blah. But what I am saying is, because the same types of people who usually join fraternities are also the same types of people that people are usually jealous of, obviously people are going to have this unfair stigma towards all sorts of frat guys. They're going to be generalized. And it's just like annoying because they really don't care. It's just like, really? Like, shut the fuck up. Let me live my life. Like, oh, you pay for friends. Oh, you get hazed. Oh, you do the elephant walk. And also, let's talk about the fucking elephant walk for a second. For those of you who don't know what that is a notorious and famous hazing ritual where basically the pledge masters make the pledges get naked, get into a circle, grab the person's dick in front of them, and walk in a circle. That's the elephant walk, right? Let me tell you this, okay? If you ever meet someone who genuinely believes that, if you ever meet someone who actually thinks the elephant walk has ever been done in the history of ever, cut them off. Slime them out. Do not ever, that guy is a danger. He's the liability. Like, not only are they so fucking gullible, they also just lack, like, critical thinking skills. And if you're ever in a dangerous situation, they might get you killed. Like, really think about this for a second. Okay, say you're a pledge, right? And you're in a room full of, like, 30 other pledges with the pledge masters. And they say, all right, everyone get naked. We're doing the elephant walk. All right? And they explain it to you what it is, and they tell you to grab your pledge bro's dick. Are you not gonna walk out? You don't think at least one person in that pledge class isn't gonna leave that fucking room and tell the entire school that this frat is making their pledges get naked and walk around in a circle holding each other's dicks? You really think that's not gonna fucking happen? That is why the elephant walk is complete bullshit. Because believe it or not, people in fraternities are humans too. They don't get, why would a bunch of fucking dudes in a frat want to watch their pledges walk around naked? That's just awkward. That's just weird. But the craziest part is the fact that people just assume that pledges would do it. Like, you really think that if pledges were told to do the elephant walk, that the majority of them just would drop? Like, you really think that people who join frats have that little self-respect? You don't think that at least one guy in the fraternity wouldn't be like, hey, let's not make them get naked. That's weird. That's like low-key sexual assault. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, to anyone watching this, if you heard about the elephant walk and you actually believed it, and you're above the age of like 17, you're genuinely unintelligent. You're not smart. Like I'm sorry, you have a low IQ. You're gullible. Like, genuinely, like you need to improve your processing and thinking skills, because oh god. Alright, so when it comes to my final thoughts, basically, this guy's an idiot. He handled this entire situation terribly. I think they should have just had the pledges get dressed and start acting normal and not crowded in a fucking basement room shirtless. That would have solved this entire issue. And then, second of all, when it comes to the actual hazing incident, I think it was hazing. I just don't think it was hazing to the extent that these pledges hated it that much. Otherwise, someone would have already reported the school, you know? Or something like that. And on top of that, I also just think there's a fat stigma around hazing and frat guys in general, which, you know, it makes sense. I understand why. But hopefully my Epstein's Island comparison wasn't too fucking crazy. But yeah, guys, I think that is going to be the video. If you liked it, subscribe. If you didn't, fuck you. And yeah, hope I educated at least one of you. Hope I entertained all of you. And yeah, I think that's going to be the video, guys. Moral of the video, don't be a dumbass. I don't know, don't be gullible. Stop believing everything you fucking hear. I don't know, but yeah, that's pretty. Dude, my hair looks like shit. That's gonna be the video, guys. Hope you all enjoyed. Hope I educated at least one of you. Peace out. Love you all. Bye.
I have to talk over this because it's copyrighted now. Too shiesty, that's my dog. You know I'm really shiesty.